Hey everybody, Jim Masters here, coming at you live on the Jim Masters Show, Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. Hope you guys are doing well today. Reporting for duty here in the host chair here in the New York area in the United States for another great show, another great broadcast, and a brand new guest joining us here on the show. We are excited to have Bobby Wilson, extraordinary, celebrated R&B and soul singer, vocalist extraordinaire. He is called, and he truly is, Mr. Entertainment. And he is joining us here from the beautiful islands of St. Thomas. He's actually on a cruise. He's performing. He's the headliner on the cruise for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. And he's traveling all over, and they're at a stop in beautiful St. Thomas in the islands. I said to him, why don't we do the show there? And then he's off again on the ship, headlining and entertaining everybody. Of course, he's been all over America and all over the world, and we're so excited to have him here. And he does happen to be the son of a music legend, and there's a really heartwarming story about all of that. He is the son of the one and only music legend extraordinaire, the icon, Jackie Wilson. Now, of course, you know all the incredible songs that Jackie was responsible for. Well, Bobby is continuing the legacy. And a lot of people say he looks like him, he sounds like him, his swagger is just like his father, Jackie Wilson. How incredible to have this incredible talent here on our show. Again, of course, as you know, folks who are fans of Jackie Wilson, and I know there are millions around the world, Jackie Wilson, of course, an extraordinary, talented individual, gone way too soon, but left all of us with an extraordinary legacy and repertoire of amazing music and amazing hits over the years that you can still hear played, and so many incredible songs. What is your favorite? Because I know a lot of people have been excited that we have Bobby on, because Bobby, there he is. Yes, when he was in the military. We're going to talk about that. That's Bobby, and he was in the Navy. We're going to talk about that as well. Yes, he's given back to our country and our land. But Jackie, again, his dad, an iconic figure in music and entertainment, and left an extraordinary legacy of music. And what's really cool about all of this is Bobby, and look at this, this is in vintage rock, Bobby pays homage to his dad. And there's a Bruno Mars connection too, we're going to tell you about, involving music and so much more, which I think is really, really cool and exciting. Of course, everybody a fan of Bruno Mars. But Bobby himself, he really is Mr. Entertainment. He's truly one of the most exciting performers, and he takes the stage in the world. Wherever he goes, he takes it by storm. Currently, he has, of course, the hit single, Are You Ready? But there's more music that we're going to talk about, too. There's also a phenomenal documentary. And the Are You Ready, of course, is from the CD compilation JackMaster 7, released on the DJ International Records, Chicago imprint. And it's really an incredible single, which has hit the top 10 house charts around the world. Bobby's a 3-time Grammy Balloted Artist. With his past CD, It's About Time, and 4 top 10 hits that peaked to number 10 on the adult contemporary charts. He is the son of legendary R&B soul singer Jackie Wilson, and Bobby has the same amazing traits, figures, and talents of his father. And it's been stated by many that Jackie Wilson's legacy lives on through his son, Bobby. His adoring fans around the world have dubbed him Mr. Entertainment, from his natural ability to entertain and bring crowds to life. And that is what he does. I mean, again, if you see him, and you don't have to be in a cruise ship to see him, that's just one of the things that he does. He performs everywhere. His music career started after his time serving in the U.S. Navy, where he was invited to join a local celebrity show, Pete Hernandez and the Love Notes in Waikiki. Not too shabby. He fell in love with Hawaii as well. Also, he was in the group with Peter's son, little Elvis, who we all know as Bruno Mars. There's your Bruno Mars connection. And, you know, we'll mention that a little bit, sprinkle that in during the course of our broadcast as well. Bruno Mars, an extraordinary talent on his own, an amazing talent. But again, when you see a show that is with our friend Bobby Wilson. Not only are you going to think, you're hearing Jackie, but Bobby has his own additional style as well. From those musical roots, he's expanded to build and develop his own style while portraying, unknowingly at the time, his dad, Jackie Wilson, in a world-renowned Las Vegas show, Legends in Concert. And Bobby's live performance, accompanied by a 7-piece band and 3 singers, and it's extraordinary. Again, he crosses all genres of music, too, for the audiences to enjoy. He was born in New York, out east on Long Island. As an infant, he found himself in the foster care system in South Carolina. He grew up in Columbia. He joined the Navy, in which he served 10 years serving our country and received honorable discharge due to medical issues. I don't want to tell the whole story because I would love Bobby to do it, but he didn't know his father, unfortunately, or that his father was his father, that, of course, Jackie was his biological father, because he had foster parents growing up. He learned later on, people started to really tell him that he looked like him and sounded like him, and it is uncanny, the similarities, right? So we're going to talk about that and so much more. I could go on forever, but I don't want to do that. I want to welcome our very special guest coming to us from St. Thomas, the one and only, drum roll please, Mr. Entertainment, joining us here on the JackMaster Show live. Mr. Entertainment, Bobby Wilson, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for having me on. Welcome to the islands, man.
To the islands. So you are in beautiful St. Thomas, and tell us about that, because Friday you were on a cruise ship, rocking and rolling, heavy storms, waves. And I asked you about that, and you were like, well, not so bad because you were in the Navy, so you were used to that.
It was rough last week.
Rough weather.
It was rough with the winds and high seas, heavy seas. So it was just, signal wasn't great, and people were sick, and but I was in the Navy, so my ships, we used to go underwater.
You did, right?
Yeah, the whole ship would go under the water and back up, under the water, back up.
Were you in submarines too?
No, it wasn't a submarine. It was a surface ship. It's just a smaller ship.
There you are.
Yeah, that's me coming out of the hole.
When was this taken? Do you recall?
No, one of my Navy buddies posted it on Facebook, and it just shocked me.
It's funny because
I know what ship I was on. I was on the USS Alwyn.
What's cool there is it's like you are already striking a pose. You are Mr. Entertainment there. You're like, oh, am I on?
No, I was coming out of the weapons magazine. There's a magazine under there. And I guess I was doing some maintenance on there, and I was coming out, and the guy caught me coming out. One of my shipmates.
Wow, that's amazing.
But I gotta tell you, you're in New York. I'm going to be at the Bolton Center on April the 26th.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So tell everybody.
Everybody, absolutely. That's cool. So for the one night, you'll be there.
For the one night, I'll be there with the full band, and singers, the Chicklets, and it's going to be fun. It's a 2-hour show.
That's going to be great.
I need everybody to show up and have a good time with me.
So tell us about, we'll go backwards, to the beginnings for you, but the Mr. Entertainment, I think that's fantastic. The viewers call me Mr. Levity because I say the show has a lot of love and levity, but you're Mr. Entertainment. How did that happen for you?
I think that it kind of grew on me with time. So, believe it or not, when I was in the Navy, I would sing to the music on the radio, and I guess I used to sing so much. I see a couple of guys commented online, say, "Man, you were singing all the time on the ship." I didn't know I was singing. So I do remember my exo coming into my workspace and saying, "Son, you're in the wrong business," and I thought he was drunk or high. So I ignored him, but then as we go, as you said, I started having medical problems, and I got a medical discharge, and I was just hanging around in Hawaii, and these local Hawaiians befriended me, and I didn't know that they were singing stars. It was Brother Is, the Casimiro brothers, Melvin Lead, all these different people that were big stars, Johnny Valentine, which were big stars in Hawaii, and I didn't know who they were. I was just hanging out with them, and they talked me into going to a karaoke which I thought was Japanese soup.
Right.
And I see these guys singing, and the voices they had was amazing. I'm talking about 300, 400, 500-pound guys with voices like angels.
Oh boy.
So when they was pushing me to sing, I'm like, man, no, I'm not going to do it. But anyway, somebody put a mic in. I tell you who was there, a guy named Pico Payne. He was the host of the karaoke show. And he said, hey, young man, do you sing? And I said, no, sir. He says, everybody sings. He put the mic in front of me. Pico Payne turned out to be an original member of the Ink Spots. And he retired.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, and he retired in Hawaii, Honolulu. So little did I know, a year or two later, I would get hired by Peter Hernandez from Brooklyn with his group, the Love Notes. And that's where he had the 7 guys and 7 young ladies and little Bruno. And Bruno was the star of the show, as far as I was concerned, 6 years old and was killing it. But as the world's youngest Elvis. But Pico Payne would come and do a couple of nights, highlighting his songs, and we would sing background for him. And I never forget, he forgot meeting me when I was in the Navy. But when I had the pompadour, he looked at me and said, son, you take me back 50 years. You look like a friend of mine. And he was one of the first to start that. And as I got thinner, because I was a big boy, I was about 220, 230 when I got out of the Navy. Right now I'm 160. But
good.
Yeah, it's a struggle. But
especially on cruise ships, right? With all those midnight buffets and all that food. Oh my God.
It's food 24/7 on the ship.
Yes.
It's a fight.
And that the staff on those cruise ships, they really work hard, don't they? They are going all the time.
Yeah, it's 24/7, and those guys they got great attitudes. I mean, they're there to please the customers and to make everybody happy and have a great time. And most people there on their vacation, so I admire them. But I worked on Premier Cruise Line on my way up, and I worked as a staff. So I knew what it felt like to work 24 hours on the ship. Yeah. So sometimes when they see me, oh, you got it good. I said, no. I was in your place. I was in the Navy, and I did 22-hour days in the Navy on the ships. I said, then I worked for Premier Cruise Line, and I did 22-hour days on their ships.
That's amazing.
So wow. I know what it's like. I said, but this was one of my goals to be a headliner. And so it's a matter of just growing and creating a life for yourself. So
even before going into the U.S. Navy, and again, thanks so much for your service, Bobby. You grew up in the New York area, out east on Long Island in Westbury. And take us from there. You were an infant, but you found yourself actually in the foster care system in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, I was just born there. My mother took me between 0 and 6 months to South Carolina and gave me up. My foster mother said that she got me right around 6 to 8 months old. And it's a lot of things was happening with me physically. I had rickets at the bones. I was underdeveloped lungs and intestines. I had a lot of medical problems. So I was in and out the hospital. I was in and out the hospital from birth all the way to about 12 or 13 years old. So they had to break my legs and straighten my legs. I wore a cast for 2 years. I wore the braces that you saw in the movie Forrest Gump. I wore that for 4 or 5 years. And I remember when I first saw the movie Forrest Gump, it took me back to my childhood because nobody else in my school wore those braces. And when I saw it on Forrest Gump, that was me running with those braces on in school. I mean, even though I was sick, I didn't know I was sick.
No.
And even though I was in a foster home, and most people say, "Oh, you had a terrible life," I didn't know I had a terrible life. To me, it was a great life. It was always 10 kids around. And as I got older, right around my 11th birthday, I found out I was a foster kid, and that's when things kind of changed for me mentally and and spiritually, because I wanted to know my mother for one. For whatever reason, I never thought about my father, but I always thought my mother was somebody like Donna Ross.
Yeah. Well, did she sing? Was she energetic? Was she passionate?
my mother that raised me was very, very energetic, very passionate, and she was a singer.
Wow.
She sung in church choir.
Yeah.
And she was involved heavily in the Southern Baptist Convention. She was secretary for Southern Baptist Convention. She was the treasury for the Southern Baptist Convention that covered South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. So she was always active, always busy. We was in church 24/7. So I had very strong religious backgrounds of religious foundation,
Right.
which really helped me in life because it allowed me to. One of the things she used to tell us when we was in her home, she says, now that you know your foster kids, God's got a plan for you. God's put you here because you're special. And whatever happened in your lives or before you got to me, forget about it because it's not going to make a hill of beans. Right now, you're going to build up from her. And so we learned to build our own lives and just depend on God. She even told us not to depend on her, and it helped because being in the hardest business in the world, show business, you get a lot of knockdowns, you get a lot of no's, you get a lot of doors slammed in your face. And you to be able to keep moving and navigating through this business, and you got to have talent. It's a lot. There's a lot to deal with. A quick story: Bruno Mars, my friend. Bruno's like a brother to me, a little brother to me. But when he got signed with Atlantic Records, or before he got signed with Atlantic Records, he was, he had a publishing deal. And he was writing songs for other artists. But he was discouraged because he wasn't making a lot of money and he wanted to be an artist. And he reached out and said, man, I think I'm going to go back to Hawaii and start a reggae band. And I said, Bruno, Hawaii don't need another reggae band. You're 20 years old. Stay in LA, work your connections. I said, if you haven't kicked the door open by 30 years old, we'll figure out something together. Me and you figure out something together. Yeah? Now, I didn't know at the time, of course, he was talking to his dad and his uncle and his mom. But I remember him saying, my mom says, come home. And I said, no, you don't need to go home. You need to stay there and work your connections, because he was well grounded in the business already. He moved there at 17, got signed with Motown and got dropped. So he was very, very talented as he was ready to give up. And that's how this business is. The business will make you give up. But if you don't have a foundation, you'll get lost. Mm-hmm. And so I never gave up. I just, God kept opening another door and another door. So when I worked with Bruno's and his family, that was a door opening that I didn't see because I was a trained engineer for the Navy. So I was ready to go out in the workforce working as an engineer. Mm-hmm. But once that door opened in the music, I fell in love with the love notes. I fell in love with the family, with Peter and Bernie and Bruno and Presley and all the girls and Eric. And they was like my adopted family.
You fell in love with Hawaii too, right?
And I fell in love with Hawaii, and I decided I'm going to stick with it and see how far I can go with it. And then I remember the day I decided I want to be a recording artist. I want to be an artist. And this is before Jackie Wilson knowledge. And that's when Paul Revere came to the show. We were at the Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center, working at the Sheraton, at the Waikiki Sheraton. And Paul Revere and John Stewart, the producer of Legends in Concert in Las Vegas, came to see Bruno because Bruno was the world's youngest Elvis impersonator at the time. And when they came to see the show, that's when Paul Revere saw me. And he said, "Hey, Bopper, don't you know you look like Jackie Wilson? You should do Jackie Wilson for my show." And I said, "No, Paul, I'm not an impersonator. I am an artist." And he laughed. And he said, "Well, come see the show." Well, I didn't go see the show. It took 3 times of me running into Paul before I said, "You know what? I should go see the show." And that's what happened. I went to see the show. I was blown away. E. Casanova was Michael Jackson. Sid was Marilyn Monroe. The Blues Brothers, Michael St. John and Rob Horton. And Little Richard was Gary Moore. And I watched them just nail those characters and just blew me away. So when Paul came back to me and said, "Hey, can you do that?" I said, "I have no idea how to do that."
Yeah.
I said, I don't know where to begin to become a Jackie Wilson tribute artist. And he says, "This is what I want you to do." He says, "Because you don't even know that you're already Jackie. I just want you to be the best Bobby you can be. Get up there, sing his songs, sell his songs as Bobby." I said, "Well, but the other guys are emulating the other characters." He says, "No, because at the time there was no video out on Jackie. The only person that had video was Dick Clark, and he wasn't giving up any. And Dick Clark was a good friend of Paul's. So Paul said, "Hey, I got a young man that's going to do Jackie. Can you think I can get some video?" And he said no.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny. I said, "Well, isn't he your buddy?" He goes, "Yeah." He said no to me. Paul was shocked. But so Paul said, "Just do the best Bobby you can. Just sell a song." And that's what I did. I just sold the song. I did the dance moves that I thought maybe he might do, because I read he was a boxer, and I read that he was acrobatic in his entertaining. I never thought I sounded like him. So I didn't even, I told Paul, I said, "I don't think I sound like him." And he said, "Don't worry about that. Just sing the songs." I got a good vocal coach. Her name was Rhonda, Queen of the South Pacific from New Zealand. She became my vocal coach. She was an opera coach. So when it came to any of Jackie's opera songs, that was a piece of cake. I can sing those in my sleep. Night, Alone at Last, My Empty Arms, those songs, To Be Loved, I can sing them in my sleep.
Came naturally for you, huh?
Yeah, the pop songs were a problem, because he can just pop up to these high register notes. He can start in a throat tone and pop up to a head tone lightning fast. I didn't have that talent. So I was worried. But she said, no. You have the same voice as this man. That when I was going through training, she says, he has a 5-octave range and you have a 5-octave range. His colors are light blue and sky blue. Your colors are more navy blue. And I was like, "What do you mean by colors?" She said, "That's the tone of your voice." She did colors. So I'm a lower register, even though I still have 5 octaves.
Mm-hmm.
And he, of course, a higher register. So I can sing lower than he can. I can't sing as high as he can.
And through all this, you still didn't know that he was your father, right?
No, I didn't.
You had no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
because when I put when she said, put the song on that you were trying to sing, and I put on Lonely Teardrops, and she taught me the first lesson. She says, "Oh, he's doing placement." I said, "What do you mean?" "That's a fake voice he's using. That's not his real voice." I said, "What do you mean it's not his real voice?" She says, "That's a fake voice." And she showed me. "My heart is crying. She says, it's the same thing. And she says, same thing. "Come on, babe. Let's do that twist." It's just where you place the voice. And I was like, wow. And then she said, "Now I want you to sing it in a lower register." So I was singing in different registers. And I learned placement and all types of techniques, like singing with a candle in front of my face and not blowing the candle out.
Yes.
Vocal control.
Yes.
Yeah, so she taught me a lot of great stuff, and that helped me to recreate the Jackie Wilson persona. And that's when people start coming out of woodwork. But it really didn't happen until Paul sent me to Atlantic City. Yeah. And I was curious. I said, "Why do you send me to Atlantic City?" He said, "Well, you've been here in Hawaii for a few years, and they don't know you exist. I'm sending you out there. Jackie Wilson was king of the East Coast." That's what Paul said.
That's right.
So I never forget. So working in Hawaii, my audience is 90% Asian, Koreans, Japanese, Chinese. I go to Atlantic City. This first time I'm seeing a bunch of Italians, Sicilians, Polish people, Black people. And I remember the first time I walked out on the ballet stage doing Jackie Wilson. So, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Excitement, Jackie Wilson." And I come out, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. "And your love is lifting me higher." And as soon as I come out with the first note, I hear in the audience. I hear the whole audience go. I had never heard that reaction before. And I did my show, and I'm the opening act. and the people on their feet. And some of the guys in the back, when I came off, because I had Michael Jackson, the Blues Brothers, Elvis was the closer, and they came back when I got off the stage, say, "Why are you working so hard? Who are you trying to impress?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Why are you working so hard? You got these people on the feet. You're just the first act. You're the opening act." And I didn't realize they thought I was trying to steal the show. I was just doing my show. So I learned a lot in this business, and but I just kept doing my show. I didn't worry about them. I learned to ignore people too. So
you have to, right? You got to drown out the noise.
But
Yeah.
it threw me off, because it's like, why are you working so hard? But I said, well, isn't it our job to please the people?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
So what I love about New York is they tell you how they think.
Direct, straightforward. Right.
Oh yeah, if you suck, get off the stage.
And then you go back and fine tune and come back out, right?
Yeah. So New York people made me work. And
Work
they made
hard.
me work.
Sing for your supper.
And I love it. I love it because and no audience like the New York audience. Anywhere in the world.
I've heard that from a lot of artists over the years. There's the passion, the enthusiasm, the clapping,
the music. They love the music.
They're behind you. They really support you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they hate you, they hate you.
You might not be back for the second night.
No, I was on early in my career. I just got put on one of the Princess cruises ships, and they had this real tough cruise director. His name is Billy Highgate. I have to tell this story. So they had so on the first night they usually put the comedian on it. They had a young comedian, and we were doing the New York run from New York to New Brunswick to Nova Scotia. And so they put this young comedian on. This kid had to be about 30, 35 years old. And he was doing heavy Jewish jokes. And the audience, it was all New York audience, and they were going crazy. You have to go through the New York Channel to get out. It takes 8 hours to get out of New York, going through the channel. And the cruise director walked out in the middle of his set and said, "Son, don't matter unpacking. Don't unpack. You're getting off with the pilot." And the New York audience was so rough on that guy, he put him off the ship.
Wow.
And he just told him on stage, "Son, don't worry about unpacking. You're getting off with the pilot." I was like, wow. I never seen anybody get fired that quick in my life.
He should not have started his set with have you heard the one about the rabbi and the priest?
Yeah, he was doing that crap.
He shouldn't have started with that one.
You should have heard those people barking at him. They were barking at him. "Get him off, get him off." I was like, oh my God.
That is
I can tell you stories.
There was a point where you were doing a little investigating work and you confronted your real mother, who was Willie Mae Benton, to try to find out and identify who your biological father was. Tell us about that. That was quite a process. And when is that something you had always thought about? Was it burning and yearning within you? Or did just something happen when you heard people saying, "God, you sound like him, you look like him, swagger like him"?
It was more the Four Tops. I was in Dallas doing my thing, and the Four Tops asked the entertainment director to bring me up to see them. They were doing corporate shows. Nobody knew they were in the Valleys. And he came up to me one day and between shows and said, "Hey, do you know the Four Tops?" I said, "Yeah, I love the Four Tops." He says, "Do you know them?" I said, "No, I don't know them." He says, "Well, they know you. Follow me." And he took me up to meet him. And when I got up to meet him, Lawrence Payton, the first one, first thing he says to me, "Hey, man, are you acting or are you being Bobby or Jackie right now?" And I thought that was the craziest question anybody could ask me. And I said, no, I don't know what Jackie Rose would be like off stage, And I said, I really don't know what he's like on stage because I don't have anything on him to compare. And they laughed. And then Levi walked up to me, looked me right in the face and said, "You got to get up early in the morning to be even close to my cousin." And he goes, "My God," like that. And I looked at Lawrence like, what is he talking about? And he was just saying my likeness and my mannerism and the way I laugh and the way I talk and the whole 9 yards was Jackie. So they was asking me, when do I turn it off? And I was like, turn it off. I said, this is me, you know. And
this is you.
yeah, and so that led to them asking me about my parents. And I told my mom I was a foster parent. They said, do you know your mother? And I said, yes. And when I told my mother's name, they said, she's from South Carolina? I said, yeah. And they said, Monk's Corner? I said, yeah. They said, oh, yeah, we know who your mother is. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. And next thing I know, they started connecting me with different people in Jackie Wilson's, you know, family. And I started talking to people on the phone and meeting them. And eventually, one of my brothers got real close to me, and him became inseparable, Thor. And we did the DNA and came back that he's my father. And
what was that feeling like when you realized that? Not
it was at first
you identified who your biological father is, but then all of this history that goes along with who he is, extraordinary.
Well, at first I didn't embrace it. At first, it really took me a few years, because we did this a long time ago, and the family was big. The family is big. So you got, and it's a lot of family dynamics that I didn't want to get into. So I was like, you know, I'm just kind of happy just being me in my little corner.
That's it. I got my thing going. I'm building.
Yeah, I don't need to, you know,
shake it up.
Yeah.
But how uncanny all of this Jackie Wilson connection and people saying these things, and
it took a few years, you know.
It was amazing, yeah.
But what, you know, when I finally embrace it is when the doors open. When I finally say, okay, I accept it, because at one time I had quit show business altogether. This is before the DNA and all that. I quit show business in Hawaii. I was working as a vacuum cleaner salesman for Kirby. And I was doing good. I was #1 Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman for a year.
You were cleaning up.
Yeah, and so, and then I get a call out of the blue from Bruno Mars' mother, Bernie. Say, Bobby, we're starting a new show at the Beachcomber, and I don't know why they want you in the show, but they want you. So I wanted the show just for me and Bruno. But they want you to be in the show, so show up for rehearsal tomorrow at blah blah blah. I said, Bernie, I'm not in show business anymore. She goes, yes, you are. She said, show up tomorrow. So I went to the rehearsal, and that's the first time I seen Bruno probably in a few years. He was 17, and we did this show called Aloha Las Vegas, and she said they want you to do Jackie Wilson, and I was thinking to myself, why Jackie? Why does Jackie keep coming up? Even when I walk away from it, when I turn my back on it, it comes back to me. People call me Jackie, you know, and I ask God, why Jackie? You know, why can't I shake this Jackie thing? And I was very serious with Bernie when she called me and said they want you. And then I got a call from the producers and said, be at rehearsal, blah 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 blah, and I quit and went, and I never looked back after that. But once I embraced it and opened the door, then a lot of doors opened for me, and now I kind of carry the mantle. I want to keep his music alive. I want to keep his memory alive, along with building my career. And
what are some things along the way you learned about him as a person? I mean, obviously, you're working your tail off to get to be where you are, and you had already started to do that without his help or assistance because he was gone, but yet he had to go through a lot of different things and barriers in the world, you know, for an artist, very, very difficult, like you say. But even back then, harder to break open sometimes and to get connections and to be accepted and revered. What are some things you learned about his struggles and his tenacity?
I call him, listen, man, I call him Superman because I don't know if I could have done what he did. First of all, he had to sing. He worked for people that basically owned him. He worked for people, that controlled his money, controlled his schedule, controlled his life. Whether he knew they were doing it or not, he worked with those kind of people. He had to work in conditions where people hated the color of his skin. So he could not go into a restaurant through the front door. He couldn't go into a theater through the front door. He had to go through the back or go through the kitchen to get into these buildings. He couldn't sleep in hotels. So these guys slept in people's houses for 10 or 15 years because they weren't allowed to sleep in a hotel. So they had to deal with people loving them on stage, but as soon as they got off stage, they try to lock them up or kill them. What kind of world is that? That's a crazy world. So yeah, now you got all the women that, of course, the women loved my dad, but the men loved my dad too. So you got all these people that love you, but then you got all of these things that contradict you, and he had to deal with the problems of the 60s, to put it mildly,
right?
And still stay on stage and perform. Nobody's perfect, so he had his demons, just like everybody else. But from what I heard from all of the people that I've run into in the business, he had a big heart. He always tried to help others. All the women like Dionne Warwick and Martha Reeves and Gladys Knight told me the same story. Said Jackie would protect them when they were on tour. He protected the girls. He was, and when guys, some of the band members try to come on to him or this and that, Jackie backs them off. BJ Thomas said when he had his hit, he got thrown on a bus tour with all black artists. And when he walked on and saw all black artists, that's the first time he really been around a bunch of black people. Said Jackie walked up to him, put his arm around him and says, "This guy here is my brother. Anybody fuck with him, anybody mess with him, got to."
Is that a reverse edit?
Yeah, you got to edit that. Anybody mess with him, got to mess with me. And he was hard, because he come from the streets. He grew up in the streets of Detroit. He was a pretty boy, but he was no easy boy.
Right.
So
couldn't be intimidated, right?
No, he was a Gemini. He was a true Gemini. He can be a saint and he can be a sinner. So, but BJ Thomas told me that, and also Bobby, who just passed away. But from Wild World, and I'm wild about you.
Oh yeah, right.
Bobby.
Yes.
Who am I talking about?
Yeah.
He pulled me aside and told me a lot about how good my father was with him and how he protected him like a little brother. See, my father didn't have a brother. He had one sister, Joyce, but he didn't have any brothers.
You know who's watching? Roy Hamilton Jr.
That's my boy, Roy.
Hello, Bobby. Great job. My dad, Roy Hamilton, worked with your dad and went through the same things too. And Roy, of course, was a guest on our show. And
right.
Benedito King, Benny King's son.
Benny King, yeah. I worked very closely with all of them. We got a little brotherhood called Sons of Soul. We got Benny King's son. We got Roy Hamilton Jr. We had Lou Rawls Jr. He passed away. We have David Ruffin Jr., Gemini Burt, Joe Tex the second or the third. And we also have Johnny Taylor's son.
Wow.
So we got a bunch of boys. I mean, that's trying to keep the music alive, man.
That is so incredible and so amazing.
Yeah. So we collaborate and try to work together and keep some shows going, keep the music going. But Roy Hamilton, I was introduced to Roy Hamilton through an Elvis impersonator.
Really?
He said to me, "Hey, Bobby, have you ever heard of Roy Hamilton?" And I said, "No." He said, "Listen to this." And he put on "You Don't Love Me Like I Love You." And "You never love me anyway." I said, "The dude sound like Elvis." He goes, "Exactly." He said, "But listen further." He said, "You can have her. I don't want her anyway." So I said, "Wait a minute, he sounds like Jackie." and it was like Roy Hamilton has the sound of both Elvis and Jackie, and it tripped me out. So I became a big fan of Roy Hamilton, and then I met Roy Hamilton Jr. and his beautiful wife Maria, and we've been friends forever.
They're wonderful people, aren't they?
Yeah. Plus his son Roy Hamilton III, that is a monster producer and writer.
Yeah. Roy was just on maybe about a week or so ago. It was really a terrific conversation. Now, for the folks who are watching, who don't know the full story, your father was performing, your father, Jackie Wilson, on stage and had a heart attack on stage doing what he loved. You know, some people do say, if I'm ever going to go out, it's going to be on stage or, you know, that kind of thing. And but it was at a young age and it was premature. So you never actually got a chance to meet him.
No, I didn't.
Face to face.
No, I didn't.
And he was performing when it all just happened suddenly.
Yeah, at the Latin Casino in New Jersey. He was working for Dick Clark's oldie revival show. And he suffered a heart attack singing, "My heart is crying, crying." He was saying that phrase when he went down. Everybody thought it was part of the show at first. And one of the coasters, I think his name was Gun. I can't remember his name. Anyway, one of the coasters went to him, and that's when they realized he had a heart attack and stroke. And then he was in the nursing home for 9 years before he passed away. And then he passed away at 49 years old. Michael Jackson dedicated some of his awards to him because that year Michael got 6 awards on his Thriller album. So he did a nice salute to Jackie.
That's really incredible. As far as, you know, and you pay homage to the history of the legacy of Jackie. And tell us about why you think that music, his music, your interpretation of it, and of course your own material, why do you think that music and why he is such an enduring and powerful and beloved figure in Americana, but also in the world of music? What is it about the music and about him? Because when I mentioned, you know, that we were going to be talking about Jackie, as well as, of course, your incredible background, people are just very excited. They can sing the words to the songs. They feel good. You know, we need more of that in our world about now. What do you think it is, the magic of it all?
I can only tell you from my shows. When I do my shows, I don't, unless it's strictly a Jackie Wilson show, I cover a lot of music, from top 40 to 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, country, and so forth. And then I insert a tribute to Jackie in. Soon as I start singing his music, the energy changes. Something about that music at that time had a spirit that made people happy, made people forget their troubles. Remember, he was there during the Vietnam time. He was there, the early rock and roll, when Elvis was first discovered in 57, 56, 57. Well, Elvis was established by then, but he kind of started at 56, 57 with his own music with Brunswick. But that was a time when America was changing. And America was saying, "Make love, not war." And it had a certain type of spirit of excitement in the music that made people forget their troubles. And I see that happening even when I go into Baby Workout.
That's right.
They just go into a trance of a time when everything was great.
Yeah.
And or everything was good, or that time was good. I see it on their faces. It's amazing to see. It's amazing to watch. And it's just that time. And it's a certain spirit in the music. And
absolutely.
That's why I tell my kids, you know, be careful what you listen to, because music is really strong. And music has undertones that can help you or hurt you, depending on what is being said in the music. Not to preach or go back preach, but people don't pay attention to the Bible the way because the first thing it says in Genesis is, first there was the Word. At first there was a word, and then from the word became flesh. If you just look into that, whatever you say out your mouth becomes reality, whether positive or negative. You can create a positive reality by what you say, or you can create a negative reality by what you say. And most people don't pay attention to what come out of their mouth, and they don't pay attention to their lifestyle. And if your life is a negative world, you need to check yourself, because you got to change your speech. As a man speaketh, so is he. The tongue can bring life, and the tongue can take away life. And just like the music can have a certain spirit in it that can bring life, and it can have a certain spirit that can take life. It's just paying attention to it. We get a lot of clues when you read the Bible.
Yes, we do. Clues. Yes,
but
right.
But if you ask for wisdom, like he says in James, ask for wisdom, he'll give it to you liberally. He'll give you wisdom. All you got to say, listen, I don't understand. Help me to understand this.
Absolutely.
And sooner or later, you'll wake up with it.
You wake up with it. A cool photo we have here of you guys, huh?
Yeah, that's
Friends
Lawrence
for life.
That's Lawrence, Philip Lawrence, and Bruno Mars. And love those guys. Those some great guys, great spirit, great energy.
You know,
I'm so happy for him.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned
he's doing so well, man. He's doing so well. And I have to tell you, when he was 6 years old, he said to me, he said, how long you been in show business? And I looked at him like, I've only been with the group 2 weeks. He goes, oh, I've been with him 3 years.
That sort of puts everything in perspective, right?
I almost passed out. This little 6-year-old telling me he'd been in show business 3 years.
Oh my God!
And he turned around and walked away.
I said, that was it.
Yeah, you little snot. You know, I was like,
what you talking about, Willis?
but he knew.
Funny.
The thing was, he knew he wanted to be a star. And I told his father this. His father probably don't remember this, Pete. I told Pete, I said, Pete, you kind of programmed Bruno without knowing it. He goes, what do you mean? I said, every night that you introduced Bruno, we did 2 shows a night. Every time he introduced Bruno, he said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the next rock and roll king, the next king of rock and roll, Bruno. He did that twice a night, every night. He programmed Bruno. The next king of rock and roll, Bruno. And I remember just hearing him say that every night. And I said, Pete, you know what you're doing, right? He goes, what do you mean? I said, you keep introducing Bruno as the next king of rock and roll. And Pete looked at me, he goes, well, that's my retirement plan.
Right there.
And it worked.
You know, speaking of the king of rock and roll, there's your dad with
Elvis. Yeah.
And good friendship.
They were the best of friends. From everyone I met from the Elvis camp, they were the best of friends. That suit he's wearing is called North Beach leather. Jackie introduced Elvis to that suit by taking him to the shop. How do I know that? Because the people that own North Beach leather told me.
They told you directly.
They told me. I was doing a show.
That is our. Yeah.
I was doing a show in Detroit, and they said, the guy introduced himself to me. He said, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I'm the owner of North Beach Leather. And I said, oh, I want an outfit. I want one for myself. He says, yeah, your dad used to come and buy them for us all the time. And we were so grateful for him because he introduced us to Elvis. I said, what do you mean? He said, he brought Elvis to our shop. And Elvis started having suits made for himself and for the whole band and for the backup singers. And he says, Elvis just blessed us when he brought Elvis. You know, if Jackie came in there, Jackie was just making suits for himself and his wife, Lynn. He said, but when Elvis came, Elvis was making suits for everybody. Yeah. And he really blessed us. And he said, we're appreciative for Jackie.
That is so absolutely.
So they were taking a picture because of those suits. From what I understand, from Dick Grove, which was one of Elvis' Memphis Mafia guys, Elvis had a couple of suits made for Jackie for introducing them to him. And that's one of the suits he was wearing in that picture. The other picture is when he was on the sets of Girls, Girls, Girls.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that picture, he was on the set, and they became really good friends when they were both out in California. They met in '56 in Vegas, but they didn't really become close until the '60s when he was doing the movies out in California. And here's the other thing: when they brought Jackie out to California, they brought him out to do the show called Shindig, and of course he killed the show. But they also took him to a couple of places in California, a place called The Trip. And it's another place. Well, when Jackie went to play The Trip, for whatever reason, he wasn't selling out. Nobody was coming to the show. And Elvis heard about it. So they said Elvis got on the phone and started calling people, say, hey, I'm going to see Jackie over at The Trip. Come and join. Who told me that? Little Anthony, Gary U.S. Bonds, some of the coasters, some of the drifters. What's his name? Charlie Thomas. He said, yeah, Elvis used to call us and say, let's go see Jackie. I'm like, he would call you? He said, yeah, he would call us and said, Jackie's playing over The Trip. Let's go see him. And so when Elvis went over to see Jackie, of course, everybody went, and you couldn't even get into the place. And then after that, Jackie was very thankful, because after that, you know, all they had to see Jackie was one time.
Right.
And it was packed after that. You know, but the first time he went there, nobody showed up to the show, and that's odd. But I can see, because that was the '60s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and that was the first time he was out there in California. So they didn't. It was Elvis that packed him. He said, and they said Jackie was very thankful that Elvis did that. You know, and it just. But to hear these stories.
Unbelievable.
There's so many people in the business that I get to hear some firsthand stories, some great stories I can't repeat.
How has all of these stories and this knowledge and this legacy impacted you as an individual, but also your music and your career? What are some of the things that you've noticed that have, from all of this, added material and information and knowledge? How has it impacted you as Bobby Wilson?
Well, everybody that seemed to have known him seemed to say to me, I have his spirit. I have his likeness. I have his way about myself. Like, he was very friendly to all of his fans and friends. He would leave the door open and let people come in the show. He also had, like I said, he was a Gemini. And he had another side where he could be mean. And apparently, I'm going to tell you this story. Apparently, I was working for Legends in Concert and one of the Temptation guys were picking on me. But I didn't care. He was picking on me, and I just let him, talk his smack. I didn't care. But then he touched me, and I flipped. And when I flipped, the whole dressing room was in an uproar, because I have a temper too. But there was a guy sitting in the corner that was part of a group called Curtis Mayfield's group. I forgot the first group. The Impressions, they would call them Impressions. Anyway, he was one of, I forgot the name of his group, but anyway, he was one of the original members. His name is Nate Evans. He was sitting there watching me. Now I'm putting on my makeup and this guy's messing with me, and then I snapped, and then all hell broke loose, and then we had to get in order so that we didn't get fired. So Nate said, Bobby, I want you to walk me to the car. Make sure you're calm. I said, okay, I'm okay. We got over it. It's two bulls working it out. And when he got to the car, he closed the door. He made me sit in his car, and he just busted out laughing. And he said, you did exactly what your daddy would have done. You acted exactly like your daddy would have acted. I was just watching you. I just knew you. He was like, the guy was pushing your buttons, and I could see it, but you weren't showing it till you snapped. And you snapped exactly the way I seen Jackie snap. And that just, I didn't know how to take that. I was like, wow. He said, nobody can't tell me that you ain't his son. You got his ways, and you was never around him.
And did you find that even your loved ones and friends and relatives, as you probably got even a chance to meet maybe more of them, they said the same thing? The people that know you and the people that knew
Yeah,
Jackie,
but well,
did they
my
say
brother
you
for
are
my brother for
amazingly?
sure. My brother
Yeah.
he used to say to me, "I'm so jealous because you're more like Pops than any of us." He used to say that to me all the time, and I said, you know, and I'll say, "Man, you ain't got nothing to be jealous of. What are you talking about?" You know, he says it's just don't make no sense that you was never around him and you more like him than any of us. He used to say that all the time.
Do you ever feel, sometimes the son or daughter of a celebrity or a legacy feels a self-imposed, sometimes it's imposed by the celebrity, but a lot of times it's self-imposed by, yourself.
Hmm.
Um, that's why it's called self-imposed. You to carry on, to protect, to celebrate and share his legacy in the way that you do through music and stories in such a beautiful way. Do you feel burdened by, compelled by, excited about, or all of the above to do that? Like it's a duty and it's something
I
you
feel
want
like
to do?
I really feel like it's a duty. I feel like I was pointed in this direction. Uh, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to be a tribute artist or I wanted to, I wanted to always be an artist. I mean, from the first time I saw the Jackson 5, I knew I wanted to be an artist. I just didn't tell myself at the time because I didn't recognize it. But I always knew I wanted to be an artist. But the Jackie Wilson thing, I didn't see that coming. And so like I said, when I started embracing it, that's when I just want to keep that music going as long as I can. And I hope that other kids and grandkids step up to the plate when I'm going and keep it going. I feel like it's our job as musicians to pass this music on to the kids and
Yeah.
to help the kids to keep this music going, like the doo-wop and the early R&B and soul, the Motown music. That music was complicated music. It wasn't easy music, but it's the music that really captures a moment in our heart. And I now see young kids when I do my shows, like on the cruise ships or in some of these rooms around America, around the world. It really lifts my heart to see the young kids embrace this music. I was doing a show last week on the independence of the seas, and this little girl, probably was 9 or 10 years old. She looked like a little kid from the 60s. She danced every song I did. Every song. She was just dancing and singing. And I stopped the show and I said, "Do you know these songs?" She goes, "I love these songs." I said, "How old are you?" She said, "I'm 9 years old." I said, "Oh my God." And I said, never lose that innocence. She didn't care who was looking at her. She was dancing and having a good time. And that gives me joy. Before I came on this last cruise, I was invited to a local school in Las Vegas to go and sing to the kids or read a book to the kids and stuff like that. I got so much joy out of educating the kids about music. It was more, fulfilled me more than what I was giving to them.
Mm.
Their minds and it was about 8 or 9 years old. Their minds and their energy was through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 15 little kids, and they were like, "Oh, I have a question. I have a question," and it was like excited. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get you. I get you." And I loved it. And when my time was up, they said, "Okay, Bobby." Everybody said, "Thanks, Bobby, for coming to the room. Thank you, Mr. Bobby," and all this stuff. And I got them to singing higher and higher with me before I left. I said, "When you get home, look up Jackie Wilson, play the music." I said, "Then look at my music and play my music too." And they said, "Oh, we love you, we love you." And it's just amazing because they will do it. The kids will find it in seconds.
Oh yeah.
And when I'm doing my show at the on stage, I tell them, I said, "Pull out your phones. We're gonna Google. We're gonna Google some names." I said, "Okay, here's one, Otis Redding. Look it up." And I even spelled it for them, you know. And I said, "Here's one, Sam Cooke with it, Cooke, Cooke." look that one up. And some of the kids are so funny because they take the phone and seconds after I said a name, they got it. But it helps them to be involved. They pay attention to the history. And then it amazes me when they come up to me and say, can I have a picture? Can I have a picture? And so, I love what I do. It's a blessing.
You do.
It fulfills
Mr. Entertainment. Yeah, yeah. I would imagine you admired Sammy Davis Jr. too, one of the ultimate entertainers.
Hero. I wanted to be Sammy.
Was he not amazing?
He was the tap dancer, a singer, a comedian, an actor, a humanitarian. I wanted to be Sammy. I used to watch his movies when I was growing up, and I would put on my church shoes and start tap dancing. my mom would go, get out of here, because I would get up there and start tapping.
Start singing the Candyman.
Oh, Candyman. I hated that song, Candyman. But it's the most requested song when I do my little tribute to Sammy. I got a Sammy Davis Jr. medley from a guy named, from a musical director named Gene White. He was his band leader. So I do What Kind of Fool Am I Gotta Be Me, and Candyman. And people love it.
Those are the ones. Of all the fabulous music that you do that pays homage to Jackie, to Dad, what are some of your favorite songs from his body of work, from his repertoire?
He's got a lot, man. He's got a lot. Et cetera, et cetera. You ever heard of that one?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Et cetera, et cetera. Whispers Getting Louder. Sweet Vibrations.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I can keep going. He covered one by a guy named Darren. I can't think of it right now. I'll get back to it. I also like his Nobody But You, which got released late after he had the heart attack.
Yeah.
On this, I think that's on the Because of You album. I'm not sure. But Because of You is his favorite. Nobody But You, I feel like he's singing to me. When I listen to Nobody You. And most favorite and most requested song of Jackie's, you probably not going to believe this, is Danny Boy.
Is it really?
Yeah. Have you heard his version of Danny Boy?
I have, and it is, and
it's like the
and
most
being Irish
song.
myself,
okay,
it really is. Did you want to sing a little bit for the viewers at all of anything of his? They would love that. Coming to us from St. Thomas.
Yeah, but I've been flying since last night.
He's been going higher and higher.
Yeah, I have. Oh, keep that good. I do that. Your love is lifting me higher than I ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love, it keeps on lifting higher, higher and higher.
Isn't that such a great song? Whenever you hear that song, even if it comes on the radio,
It's a good
just
song.
feel good.
Yeah, and one of the writers for that song, Renard Minor, I talk to him all the time. He said they wrote that song originally as a gospel song.
Really?
And a group called the Dells recorded it first.
Yes.
But nothing happened with the song. So they took the song to Brunswick and said, hey, we won't give this to Jackie. Then Jackie took the song, went to Chicago with Carl Davis, and they hired the Motown band, paid them double, and they said they laid that song down on one take. Can you believe that?
That's amazing, huh?
One take.
One take.
That's crazy.
One take Wilson. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's also cool? You have this wonderful documentary that you're very proud of.
Yes,
and
sir.
We're excited, and congratulations. Tell us about this.
The documentary is about growing up in foster care, aging out of foster care, kind of being left on your own and trying to make a life for yourself. when they came to me to tell my story, originally they didn't know that I grew up in foster care.
Right.
And I said, if anything, I would like to give back and help somebody, because a lot of people that grow up in foster care don't have great endings. They wind up back in the system, in jail, or even dead. I feel like I'm grateful that the foster care existed. I'm grateful that the programs that they had set up and during the time I was growing up were there so that I can totally heal my body and become a productive citizen. I was blessed because I was put in a great home, a great foster home. A lot of kids are not. They get put in bad homes or homes where where they can, you know what? I gotta plug this this in. The battery's gonna die. Hold on.
Oh yeah, no, it happens to all our guests.
Yeah. Pause.
And we get to see the chair. We have so many celebrity chairs. We've just added Bobby Wilson's chair to the collection. And what's on the left here? Is that a dolphin? It looks like a dolphin or a shark.
I
Little,
don't know.
this big blue thing right here. You see it next to your light? That big, like
it's a dolphin. Oh,
it is a
funny.
dolphin. Yeah, that is a dolphin. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we see part of it there, which is kind of cool. So
yeah, I just got a signal that it's going to die. I don't want it to die.
Yeah. Right. Oh, it's happened before, especially when we're live. You know, like I say to our viewers, doing television and radio so many years live myself professionally, anything can happen when it's live, and you just go with it and you have fun, you make the most of it. You know, being on stage too, right? Anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
And you just roll with it, right?
Anything does happen.
That's right. You roll with it and anything can happen. And yeah. We say hello to all of our viewers and our lovelies watching all around the world. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Our special guest is Bobby Wilson, incredible Mr. Entertainment.
I'm going to have to move locations because
we get to see some of the the suite, the Bobby Wilson suite in St. Thomas.
Yeah.
He's literally giving us a hand.
Yeah. Shake a hand, shake a hand.
That's it, right? Yeah. The vocal textures are really amazing that you have, Bobby, the sound. What do you do to protect, warm up, and keep that voice going? Do you have a routine? There's certain things you do to nurse the voice and take care of it?
Yeah, I have all my, remember I was telling you about my, that's too high. Remember I was telling you about my vocal coach?
Right.
Yeah, let's see. Is that too high? Here we go. I'm trying to get a good level on this.
It looks like you're not with the movement. It's like you're on the cruise ship.
So no.
So what you do to take care and protect that great voice?
All these vocal exercises. You know, I have a lot of vocal exercises I just use to keep me going. You know, a lot of that stuff that Jackie Wilson stuff is upper register. Like that Shake a Hand song. Shake a hand, shake a hand. I mean, that's way up there in the higher register. So it's different techniques when it comes to singing. The throat, the chest, the head. Those are three main placements. So it's a matter of just when I do my exercise, I do my vocal.
Yeah.
When I do my vocals, I do my chest work, I do my head work, and I do my throat work.
Will you try to get a good night's sleep? Will you not eat certain foods?
No, I eat everything. But I do need 8 hours of sleep in order to have great vocals. It's almost like I have to be in. Another thing is I have to be in shape too to sing Jack's music. What I mean by that is I'm always moving, I'm always dancing, but I can't do it if I don't work out or maintain a good balance diet. If I let myself go, my performance would be poor. I don't know how to.
That's true. Right. Exactly. It's a mind, body, spirit thing that everything has to be aligned Right.
And even the day before my show, I make sure I go lift heavy weights because that gives me more support on my notes.
Right.
And so, and I feel it when I don't work out.
You do, right? You feel sluggish.
Yeah, because it's a strain.
Even your breathing changes, everything, right?
It's a strain. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to make it work. I have to work out and keep myself in shape.
Keep yourself in shape.
Yeah.
Something also exciting. We're talking about the documentary. Where could people see the documentary? Is it streaming? Is it?
It will be soon. I
Good.
just got an email from the producer that they just cut a deal and then they expect to hear from the people soon. It will be streaming most likely on Amazon Prime, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull the cat out of the bag yet.
One of the major streaming services, folks.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see the whole film.
TheLastTeardrop.com. You can go there for like updated details as well. And his website, as we've been showing, BobbyWilsonMusic.com, is also a great place to keep abreast of all the cool things he's doing, where he's at, what's happening. And also, it's about time. Congratulations on this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is something near and dear to your heart, Bobby Brooks Wilson. And the wonderful song that I know you're very excited about, and a lot of people have been really talking up, and Lonely Teardrops, taken from the album It's About Time. This album has 12 tracks. It's incredible. Covers your father's work, Lonely Teardrops, I Get the Sweetest Feeling, and so much more. You were signed to Plateau Music in Nashville and released the 12-track album. Tell us about that. What was that process like? And congratulations on it.
It was a great learning tool for me. I worked with a good producer, Tony Mantor. And
he's great. He was a guest on our show too. He's terrific.
Oh, yeah, he was a great producer, and he managed to pull out some real great sounds out of me. I didn't want to sound like Jackie at all, and that's what I was worried about. I didn't want to sound like an impersonator. I wanted to sound like me. And Tony said, "No, don't worry. I'll get your sound out." And I think we did. Then also I got to write the title track, It's About Time, which was a song that came to me a while back. The whole song came to me in my dream. And people love that song. People think it's a great song. So hopefully you get a chance to hear that one too.
Congratulations on that. It was a labor of love, right?
Yes, it was a great project.
Yeah, and that's a great cover too.
Thank you.
It's very reflective. It's very substantial. It's like it's about time. It's your time, but also you're reflecting on life and living and love and the legacy and just all these things. I think it's a great choice of the title, and the fact that it has the black and white and the gray textures and tones. But it's about time, and your tie just soar. I think.
Yeah. I like the way he did that. Tony's son took those pictures for us. So
what some people don't know too is one of the hardest things when you're putting an album together is condensing like 50 songs down to 12.
Right.
How did you guys select which songs? And that's an arduous process.
Yeah, it just took a little time. I wanted to do some different songs. I wanted to show versatility. I covered one of Otis Redding's songs, I've Been Loving You Too Long, on there. And then I covered one of Elvis tunes, Just Pretend. So I wanted to be able to show my versatility. I wanted to show me.
Which is fantastic.
Just Pretend is a song about being away from your loved one all the time.
Right.
So and because I worked so hard on the road, that song resonated with me. And when first time I heard it was Elvis impersonator, of course, singing it, Tony Roy, out of Branson, Missouri. That's the first time I heard that song, and I fell in love with it. And then I said, "Man, I'm going to record it myself." And that's when I laid it down.
That's fantastic. And also, there's another one. I mentioned this when I was welcoming you to the show. Are You Ready to Dance? And that's available on Apple as well. This
Yeah.
is another great one, huh?
Yeah, this one we wrote during the pandemic. A second one is coming out called Stand Up for Love.
Oh, that's great.
This is with DJ International Records out of Chicago. The guy name is Rocky Jones. Rocky's what do you call him? He's a pioneer in house music. They started in the 70s in Chicago. I think they kind of piggyback off of New York with the disco era. And he's made a lot of stars on that label. So be looking out for that one. Also, we got a hint that one of the people over in the Ukraine wanted my single. They want to use it as an anthem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. When you're on stage, what happens to you? Do you transform into another time and place? I mean, it must be something quite special when you're on stage and you're just working with the audience and singing and having such a good time as Mr. Entertainment.
I think I do go somewhere. I'm certainly not Bobby, you're talking to right now. It's a different guy altogether. I just seem to get in a zone and I'm there. That's where I stay until the show's over.
Right. Yeah. So you just knock it out of the park.
No, it's just, I don't know. I think you know how you feel like you were made for this?
Yeah. Yes.
That's how I feel.
Which really is, again, like, and it seems like all of this has been around you for a long time, and you sort of put the puzzle pieces together. People are saying, you look like Jackie, sound like Jackie, swagger like Jackie. Look at this great shot here.
Yeah, that's Mr. Benson, George Benson.
And
that's his music director, Foster there.
That's incredible.
They've been together. Those two guys been together for so many big projects.
How long does it take?
All the way back to Breezing.
Oh, that's right. Another fabulous song.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get your hair like that? It's incredible. That is a signature look.
I've been doing it so long now.
Yeah.
No, don't take me long. Once I hot curl it, all I got to do is freeze spray it and we set.
And that's it, right?
Yep. I've been doing it too long. My girl, she's a hairstylist, and she's the one kind of pushed me more to this style because I used to have my hair a different style. But she was a princess. Right. She was Prince's hairstylist.
A Prince's hairstylist. Wow.
Prince, Prince.
Yeah, sure.
Over 5 years.
Yeah.
So when she started doing my hair, people started saying, "Hey, man, why are you walking around trying to look like Prince?" I said, "I'm not trying to look like Prince. This is my girl. She does Prince hair."
That's it. Look at this shot.
Oh yeah, that was the malt shop cruise on 70s night.
Cool, huh?
Did you ever see that movie Car Wash?
Oh, sure, of course.
The guy called The Fly.
Yes.
That's who I was being.
One night, Car Wash came on after Shaft.
Yeah.
And Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah. I was being the Fly in that picture.
That is so cool. That's so cool. And then there's other things that are coming up too. This is kind of exciting, right? Yeah. Look at this.
And I get to work with Terry Johnson again. I haven't worked with him in a long time.
And you know what's ironic? The Tillis Center is at Long Island University. It's a beautiful center, beautiful place. Tillis Center for the Performing Arts at LIU Post in New York. And, that's not far from Westbury, where you were born.
Right.
And that fabulous New York University is my alma mater.
Really?
That's where I went to college. Yeah. And you're going to be on the stage there at that fabulous Tillis Center. And that's look at all the other fabulous people that are going to be there.
I can't wait.
Look at all of that. Yeah. Charlie Thomas from the Drifters. And it's incredible. And look at this too.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that show.
Mother's Day concert, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Spinners.
Spinners, yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking
you're
forward
always
to that.
involved in a lot of these different situations, right? How do you have time to do everything you do and also be on the cruise ships?
Well, everything just strategically works out, man. It just strategically works out for me. I'm blessed, and I don't take it for granted.
No. Is there anything that you haven't done yet, Bobby, that you want to do? Do you want to get into
I want to be in
movies?
movies. I want to be in movies.
Movies?
I want
Broadway?
to be in movies. Broadway, I like to do Broadway, and I like to be in movies.
Yeah.
Now, I did the Jackie Wilson play back in 1995, that's when the producer said, "Man, you're a natural born actor." I said, "Yeah," because I love to do it. I love acting more than I like singing. So,
Yeah.
just ask my mom; she'll tell you.
She'll tell you. Well, you've got an infectious personality, and people are drawn to you. And like I said, so many people, when I mentioned you were coming on our show, they just were so excited. And there's one of the reasons why. That photo is a perfect example. You, and I'm sure like your dad, understood and understand what it's all about. And you appreciate the supporters, the fans, the people who buy the music, the people who download and stream, the people who show up in the seats and cheer and clap and laugh. And as you take some of their woes away for the time that you're there with them, presenting all this phenomenal music and laughter and stories, and you're very, very engaged with and appreciative of your fans, and they know that, Bobby, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes,
and that is so cool. And I think that's how you get staying power. The longevity is when you have a good time and you bring other people in and they have a good time with you. I think it's this was born in you. This is, all these people that were coming up the ranks as you were telling you, you've just got this something. We're trying to figure out what it is. Now you know what it is, and you're making the most of it. And I think that's absolutely fantastic.
We're not done yet.
You're just still going.
We got a long way to go.
What are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life that keep you going?
It's the people, it's the fans. They want to see it, they want to hear it, and the ability to be able to continue these shows and continue the music. That's all I want to do. Like I did tell you I want to jump into the acting thing, and I am moving in that direction. But as long as God give me the strength to stay on stages and share my message and share my life story with them, I'm going to do it.
You're an amazing guy, really, with an extraordinary story. Really looking forward to the documentary. Encourage folks. The music is available now, right? People can download and stream
everywhere. Google Play, iTunes,
Spotify, and all of those places.
All platforms.
Congratulations on everything, my friend. It really is a pleasure to meet you virtually, and I hope to meet you, face to face. And I really am blessed and honored that you took this amount of time, especially when you are right now in your little window of me time, when you're relaxing as you're working there in St. Thomas. So to come on during this time, I really thank you so very much. And I hope the show met whatever expectations that you had and that you enjoyed the time with me, as I absolutely have with you, my friend.
I did. And I thank you.
It was a pleasure. And we're going to keep the porch light on for you. We always say that with the guests. We'll keep the porch light on. You are welcome back anytime. And
thanks, man.
Spread the word about the show. And we will see you again soon, okay?
Okay, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Jim.
You as well. Take care, and congratulations on everything, Bobby.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Isn't he amazing? Bobby Wilson here on the show. Some great stories about the connection with Bruno Mars early on and how Bruno Mars was up and coming as well. Bobby is a real showman. Like I said, they call him Mr. Entertainment. And we had an opportunity exclusively to chat with him at a time when he's on the cruise ships right now. And so they're docked in St. Thomas, and he's in the hotel in St. Thomas, the beautiful St. Thomas in the islands. And he had this window of time to chat with us. Now, usually, you know, when you're on the cruise ships and you're performing, the downtime is when you go exploring or you just sleep for hours in the bed. He wanted to make sure that he was here with us and spend some time. And he was looking forward to being on our show. And I was looking forward to welcoming him as well. And what a story as far as how he found out who his father is, legendary music icon Jackie Wilson. He didn't get a chance to meet his dad because his dad had passed away, as he mentioned, of a heart attack on stage, performing, doing what he loved. And so he didn't get a chance to meet him. And through his life, people just said, you sound like him. You've got the swagger of him. You look like him. You have the mannerisms, the voice, all of it. And so very, very true. You can even see it in the face and you hear it in the voice. And it's just absolutely incredible. And he, you know, found out that his biological father's the incomparable Jackie Wilson, and decades of music and so much more, and gone too soon. But he's keeping that legacy alive. He's chosen to keep the legacy alive and celebrate through music and song and stories the life of his biological father, who is Jackie Wilson. What an incredible story, folks. And of course, he has his own career. What's amazing and very special is he is not like resting on the shoulders of Jackie Wilson. He's paying homage to his biological father. He's celebrating his biological father while he also has his own music and career and desires and hopes and dreams, which is amazing. Really, really cool story, isn't it? And a great conversation with some music. He sang for us live as well, which is always cool when our guests sort of do that in their own special way. Bobby Wilson joining us here on the show. We thank Bobby for stopping by and having a nice, extended, exclusive, rare conversation on the Jim Masters Show. There is the new music. It's about time. Make sure you get that. Keep an eye out for that incredible documentary about his life growing up in the foster homes and what that was like. And just really, it's an incredible and unbelievable story, The Last Teardrop. And just check it all out. And, go to bobbywilson.com to learn more about all the amazing things. In this photo we've been showing, you can really see the uncanny resemblance that he has to his father. We thank Bobby Wilson for being with us here on the show. Gang, if you enjoyed this episode, this really, really helps our show. A lot of people ask, what can we do to help spread the word about your show? Make sure you click the like button on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. There's a thumbs up like button. Make sure you share this episode on your social media. Share the YouTube episode link. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That doesn't cost anything to do. And also leave a comment for us on the episode. What are some of your favorite Jackie Wilson songs? Have you had a chance to see Bobby Wilson perform on the actual YouTube channel? Underneath the episode, leave a comment, engage with us. We've been getting so many comments and so many people who have been clicking like, and so many new subscribers in the thousands. We want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for your continued love and support, lifting us up higher and higher through your love and support, spreading the word, sharing. We're doing something special here at the Jim Masters Show, just the way I designed it, playing off my broadcast career and engaging with all of you and just having a good time and bringing on phenomenal guests like Bobby Wilson, telling his story from his heart and soul, singing for us, and being raw, open, and honest. Nothing sugar-coated, being the real deal with an extended, exclusive, not interview. I know a lot of people, we use that word, but it's really, these are conversations. And if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell everybody get on top of the mountain, go higher and higher, and say, hey, check out the Jim Masters Show. We love it. Thanks to everybody who is watching. We wish you well. Check out all the other episodes that we have, hundreds and hundreds of episodes that you can watch with celebrity friends and guests from all different backgrounds who stop by the Jim Masters Show, and they have some really good time with us. Thank you very much, Roy Hamilton Jr. If you didn't see his episode, it was just on about a week or so ago. An amazing guest, another incredible talent, and his father, a legend, Roy Hamilton. So many incredible songs. Unchained Melody. I mean, the list goes on and on. A really cool guy watching as well. And thank you, everybody, for all these great comments. We see them here. We thank you very much. Patty, too, as well, and Merlin and Kathleen and Maureen and Sherry and everybody. And anybody who is watching, live, thank you. And everybody who's watching this later in the archives, because we archive our shows right here on the Jim Masters Show series, we say thank you. And if this was your first time here, welcome to the Jim Masters Show. Come by and see us again. We really appreciate that. For all of us here, I'm your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to love yourself. And we're going to keep the porch light on for you as well. Come by and see us again. Let's have some more fun together and stories and all kinds of cool conversations with our fabulous guests and all of you. We love you all. Take care and be well, and see us again right here on the Jim Masters Show. Thanks to Bobby Wilson. Thanks to you. And we'll see you on the next one. Be well.